State of Washington. Yes. Now, just so we understand, right. Uh-huh. The state of Washington has an obligation to not employ people that say, yes, it's an allegation of violating civil rights. Poop. Now, it only takes one forgery to get it removed, but the police department wouldn't do it, would they? They just would not acknowledge that you cannot use forgeries to issue court orders. Yes. Now, I'm absolutely certain about the petitioner, yes, the protected person, having to have to appear in court for you to be able to issue a court order. Poop. Now, somebody convinced this city or this county that that's not a necessary requirement of the law. But when I read the actual municipal code of the city of Seattle, yes, I would think, yes, that there is the requirement, and if you do not appear in court, it would be a contempt of court. Yes. Now, I informed you in 2015. 6 weeks later, you arrested me for a crime where I wasn't in swim. Yes. Then you refused to admit the evidence. And then your thought was, well, he'll just motion the court. Failure to summons assistance. Oh, let's see. I email you and the police department. Yes. That my rights are being violated. Yes. That the petitioner did not sign the protection order and you issued it for 10 years. And all of you said, well, he doesn't know. Now, it does not take a really super educated individual, yes, to explain harassment 12A.06.040. Oh, now you are guilty of harassment, yes, if with the intent to annoy myself, repeatedly have used fighting words, yes, obscene language, thereby creating a substantial risk of assault. Poop. Without lawful authority, you've knowingly threatened me because of numerous arrests right now. Now, this is just harassment. Phew. Then there's maliciously to do any other act which is intended to substantially harm myself, the person threatened, or another with respect to his or her physical or mental health or safety. Yes. Now, let's look at this. I would say, ouch, that this is maliciously intended to substantially harm my physical and mental person. Yes, because I wasn't in Squim. Well, isn't that what this is about? You wanted me to be put, yes, in a mental institution, right, where they were going to administer psychotropic medication against my will, right, right. And then that wouldn't physically or mentally hurt myself, considering I wasn't in Squim, right, and I wasn't in Brennan. Pooh. Now, I would say that that does define malicious harassment. Mm. Now, this harassment on the part of the police and sheriff's departments, it's a federal crime. It's a hate crime, yes. And Washington State, in the last few days, right, just passed a law that I can sue each cop for $100,000. Now, how much are you making there in the police department? See, failure to summons assistance, yes. When I email you the documentation that my rights are being violated, yes. Reckless endangerment when he recklessly engages in conduct which creates substantial risk of death or serious bodily injury to myself. Yes. Failure to summons assistance. Ouch. He or she was present when a crime was committed against another person. See, each time you arrested me, you were present there. Yes. When you, as law enforcement, should have been enforcing my civil rights right now. Now you're getting sued for malicious harassment. Every cop in Port Angeles, $100,000 for each one of them. Now, you could have summoned assistance because I, as a person, had informed you, yes, that the petitioner did not appear in court. Yes. There's forgeries. Right. I sent you emails today about this. Yes. And then when the state, yes, says alleging due process violations in that underlying order for protection, yeah. See, it wasn't just the public defender's office. Ooh, ooh, ooh. It was myself that had emailed the police department. Yeah. It was myself that told the police officer that I want my civil rights enforced. It was myself that told you it was against the law. Now, the state is employing employees of the state that completely ignore the laws of the state because you want me to go before a judge, yes, that would not contempt court, yes, when my wife did not appear in court, poop. Wouldn't contempt the court when my wife did not produce for the court, yes, an actual valid marriage certificate, yes, and this state of Washington, right here. Yeah. See, they were the plaintiff versus myself, Paul Butnick. Oh, oh, that honor about December 31st of 2015. I myself, as the defendant, knowing I was not in Sequim, Washington. Now, who was it that reported, yes, that I had violated the restraint provisions of the protection order? Yes. Mrs. Budnick, yes, Ms. Budnick, yes, the same Ms. Budnick that did not appear in court when you issued the protection order, the same Ms. Budnick that doesn't have her signature on the protection order, the same Ms. Budnick. Now, this was filed on March 7th of 2016. Yes. The state of Washington is the plaintiff. Poop. The state of Washington, yes, that on or about there existed a protection order, yes, that was issued for the protection of Heidi Budnick applicable to the defendant, yes. But as I was reading this laws, yes, if there's a failure, yes, on the part of the petitioner to appear in court, yes, it's a contempt of court. Now, protection order requirements, false reporting. Exactly who reported it that I was in Sequim, Washington on or about December 31st of 2015? As I explained, there is no better evidence than the actual audio and video of the bus. Just so you know, okay? I was not in Sequim. No. Now, false reporting initiates or circulates a written or oral report of alleging or impending occurrence. Yes. Of an emergency, knowing that such report contains false information. Poop. Knowingly makes a false or misleading material statement to a public servant. Oh. Now, when you said I was in December, I want every one of you idiots to understand. 15 fucking years. Now, verbal statement relating to a crime, catastrophe, or emergency to a Seattle police officer or a Seattle Police Department 911 emergency operator, knowing that such statement contains a misstatement of a material fact. Yes. Now, false written or oral identification to a police officer when such officer is investigating a crime. Yes. Now, there's no possible way, there's no way that I could have been involved in any of the violating of the restraint provisions. I had not spoken to Miss Budnick. Yes. I was not in Sequim, Washington. Yes. I did not in any way involve myself in Miss Budnick's personal life. Now, the state of Washington right now, I want this fucking state